I'm Spencer Reagan. I work in product at Airia. What is AI discovery? The landscape of AI applications and AI agents in the enterprise is moving incredibly fast. What it's led to is internal IT teams and security teams having trouble keeping up with what the needs of their users are. Some organizations have approved applications that they've distributed, but what we see more often than not is an entire economy of individual users going and sourcing their own AI applications. Sometimes this is approved and sometimes it's sanctioned and other times not. What an organization needs, though, is the tooling to understand what's being used across their infrastructure, what applications are their users using, and the ability to make sure those applications are behaving in ways that are secure, auditable, and allow that organization to meet its regulatory needs. So then AI discovery in practice is being able to itemize the different applications that are on our users' endpoints, as well as the cloud applications they're using. Essentially anything interacting with an intelligence, an LLM, be it a frontier intelligence or something local on their machine. We need to know these things because these applications search across data, very sensitive corporate data, and often move that data around without those users knowing. These applications can also interface with APIs and MCP servers, and we need to be very careful and cautious about the levels of access that we give to these applications. Often that's the type of guardrail and security that an IT team needs to put in place on behalf of their users. So AI discovery gives an organization the understanding of what's in place so that they can apply the right rules and remediations and guardrails to their users as they use these incredibly powerful AI applications. So the enterprises that we're interfacing with, more often than not, we surprise them when we give them the results of AI discovery. We let them know exactly what cloud AI agents their users are interacting with, as well as what local applications exist on their machine. Now, a lot of times along with those local applications come plain text secrets, API keys, connections that are going horizontally from that endpoint straight out to different API layers. These are the types of things that we need to route through controlled interfaces, gateways. That's the type of things that AI discovery is allowing these organizations to do, and it's the visibility that they need to be compliant with the regulatory environments that they exist in. So what types of AI does Airia discover? Well, the landscape of AI applications is an incredibly diverse tapestry. Sometimes these are local applications, sometimes these are web sessions, sometimes these are small pieces of code that run either in the cloud or locally on an endpoint that define an agent and its intentions. All of this needs to be wrapped together and then consolidated into a view that helps an organization understand the different types of interactions. Any one of these pieces individually is an incomplete picture, but consolidating all of them together and helping an organization see from a user view a 360-degree understanding of how that user is leveraging AI applications, what AI intelligence is it's interacting with, and what API calls those agents are making is exactly what an organization needs to understand how to secure that landscape and make sure that their users' interactions are safe. So why do we need to give our IT teams and our security teams this type of visibility and control? Well, it turns out that the risk profile for an AI interaction is incredibly broad. The speed at which these technologies have developed has prevented us from being able to have the right kind of embedded security controls. What that means is a malicious prompt statement left behind in a resume or a GitHub repo is something that a user working with their own AI application can easily trip across. That type of malicious statement getting inside the infrastructure of an enterprise can create extreme security holes. It can lead to exfiltrated data extremely easily. Now, preventing this is fairly trivial if we have the right security and guardrails and we understand how our users are interacting and using the AI applications. If we don't have that visibility, our users are blind, and it's extremely easy for them to stumble into some of these dangerous areas or come across one of these malicious statements. What do we do after we discover all the AI assets and applications in an organization? Well, step one is always compile that information. We can't secure what we don't know about. It's the oldest paradigm in IT. So first we need to understand across that entire suite of capabilities, what's in use, who's using it, and what they're interacting with. That then informs the next phase of the process, which is secure, where we decide exactly what guardrails and policies we're going to put in place. So what are some of the more surprising things that we find in an AI discovery engagement? It's actually incredibly interesting. More often than not, it has to do with the speed of development across the past couple of years. There's been so many AI agent prototypes and so many AI agent projects that have just been forgotten. Sometimes more than half of what we find inside a given organization is literally just burning agent looping that no one's paying attention to anymore. I actually challenge any organization when I begin an engagement with them, tell me what you would not expect, and I promise you we're going to find that. One of the more challenging things that we see when we engage with the organizations is that there's just so many vendors and the landscape is so diverse. The users need to test so many different applications, and even the applications that are sanctioned and delivered by IT sometimes aren't necessarily the ones that our users are finding that make them the most productive. Most organizations, we want to give them the ability to encourage that behavior. Most organizations want their users to use and try AI applications. The challenge is we need to make sure they do it in a safe way. We need to give IT and security the ability to find what's going on in their users' agentic interactions and put the right security and guardrails in place so that we can encourage and foster that behavior, so that the users can get the most out of these AI agents in a safe and comfortable way. One of the paradigms of AI discovery that's so important is the actual on-device information. Across the past couple of decades, we've done such a swing towards cloud that most governance and security platforms really focus on that true web interaction, an ability to understand what's going on by controlling it at the web interface. But AI applications, because they're so resource intensive and require indexing down on the endpoint, many of them live on the endpoint. Claude Code, Cursor, Codex, all the common AI applications that we see actually do live and exist on the endpoint. It's pushed a requirement back into us to have to monitor these endpoints in a way that we haven't for the past couple decades. This is a new type of technology, and understanding how to look at the actual endpoints, discover the AI applications, and put the controls in place at the endpoint level is something that's new, and it's something that AI and agentic applications are bringing back into the mix. And the discovering of the actual AI applications and what the agents are doing on device isn't actually that difficult. The way these applications have been written and the way LLMs truly transact in actual natural language lets us have real clean understandings about what to look for in an agentic interaction and also what types of guardrails to put in place. It all happens in natural language, in English, in plain text, the conversation between the user and the frontier intelligence. Even when a tool call is involved, it's still natural language, it's still plain text, and it's something that we can easily interpret, understand, and in most places, control pretty cleanly. And again, it is extremely multifaceted. A lot of these interactions do take place in a browser, which takes an entirely different discover mechanism than that locally running application. And we have to really consolidate all this. We have to stitch all this together again to make that rich tapestry of an understanding, to get that 360-degree view of what each user in the organization is doing. Whether they're on our network or not, whether they're using a local application or a cloud application, we need to have a way to put the same guardrails, the same security policies, and the same security mechanisms in place for every one of those agentic interactions. It takes a rich understanding of how these AI applications work, how our users work with them, and then how those applications communicate out with the external intelligences to know what does a safe interaction look like and what types of guardrails can we put in place.